What if I told you that in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a rank and rent website that can pay you $1,000 per month on average. Would you watch it? Would you watch the whole thing? That's what we're going to do today. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to go through my entire process. I actually cover this in my paid course, my paid program as well, but I thought this would be a really great entry point for people getting into rank and rent. And I just want to jam pack this video with value. I want you to bookmark this video, come back to it, rewatch it, and really start to understand how building a website in WordPress, building it to rank in Google, all of that good stuff, how all of that stuff works, okay? So come with me on a journey today, as this will be basically a working session, and you can follow along if you want. I'm going to be teaching you to use specific tools here. So we're going to be using WordPress, Bricks Builder, and Automatic CSS, which is amazing, by the way. If you haven't used Automatic CSS before, it's absolutely amazing, and I'll show you why here in a few minutes. But I will also show you how to create unlimited content for free using ChatGPT, of course, how to do your on-page SEO, your titles and your meta, how to set up your WordPress website with proper security, because that's very important with WordPress, how to set up your website hosting. We're going to be using Cloudways today, and how to point your domain at a new website. Other things you will learn: correctly titling your site, utilizing a template, properly spacing content, how to give incentive in the quote form, call to action, placing photos, where to place phone numbers, how to make a phone number click to call, all that good stuff. So this is jam-packed. This is basically an entire module in my paid program that I'm giving to you guys for free. And if you like this video, if you want more content like this, please hit subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, so where to start, right? You want to start a new lead gen site that can pay $1,000 a month. I'm going to assume that you already have an idea of what niche and what market you want to go after, okay? I'm not going to get into keyword research or niche research, doing your due diligence, all that stuff, which is in my paid program. That's a very valuable skill set to have. Probably one of the most important skills of the entire process of rank and rent. But let's say you already have a niche and a city that you want to go after. All right, so what we're going to start with is this very basic website that I actually already have live on a domain. And the reason I'm starting with this is because I got this website up in about an hour. It's only one page. It's very simple, basic, but we're going to be starting over from scratch. I want to show you how to build your header, your navigation, how to build out pages, how to build out your footer, all that kind of good stuff within Bricks Builder. And since it's already live on a domain, it makes it a lot easier for us. So let me just log in here. Awesome, so we are in. Now, by the way, I assume that most of you guys are already doing web design if you stumbled upon rank and rent, and you're probably using your own host at this point. But if you're brand new to rank and rent, I recommend using a software or a server management system like Cloudways. The reason I like Cloudways, besides their killer support, you can just open up a live chat within seconds, so their support is really great. But besides that, all of these servers right here, you can see I have a DigitalOcean server and I have 3 Vultr servers. If you create a server, it will give you a bunch of options here. Let me just put in just some placeholder content for now. You can see how cheap these really are, okay? So down here in the bottom, you can see it's only 28 bucks a month, okay? And this is actually using a premium, faster core. You can lower this and get it sub $20 a month. Now, it's important to know that you can fit multiple websites on a server. I know it says WordPress right here for one WordPress website, but I think I have about 45 websites. I think I bumped it up to this one, so I might be paying 50 bucks a month, but I'm paying about $1 per month per website. So that's how you have to think about it. So you can scale it up as you need. You can't scale it down, although you could clone a server and scale it down to a smaller server if you want to. But I think Vultr might actually be, oh, it's more expensive. Okay. But yeah, DigitalOcean has a lot more options. I really like Cloudways. There's going to be a link in the description down below if you're interested in checking this out. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. So once you install WordPress on Cloudways, it's as easy as coming down here, adding an application. You select WordPress, you name your application, and you add your application, okay? After you add an application, you can actually use a development link, so you don't actually need to develop on the live domain. I actually recommend using something like local, so you can actually develop the website on your local machine and then upload to your hosting, right? So once we're in WordPress, I'm not sure if you guys understand WordPress yet. I will assume that you don't understand WordPress and this is your first time using it. So once you log in, you will see a dashboard. Now, what we're using today for the page builder is Bricks. And I really love their hero title here, build WordPress websites that rank. This really speaks to SEOs, right? Rank and rent people, because that's obviously the goal, okay? Now, this is a true page builder. It generates very clean code. None of my Bricks websites have gotten hacked at this point. I used to use Elementor, and I think I have a couple videos on Elementor, but I don't use Elementor anymore. The reason is because it's gotten hacked over and over again, and I know for a fact that it's Elementor and not any other plugin, and their code is very messy. It does not export clean semantic code. If you add a div or a container in Elementor, it has a bunch of nested containers. It just doesn't make any sense. Bricks, on the other hand, is extremely fast. It's extremely developer friendly, but also beginner friendly. And it is just what I use for all of my client websites, for all of my rank and rent websites. I provide a template for my students to use in my course as well, so they can just one-click upload to their hosting and they're off to the races. So we're basically going to be rebuilding a template like that in WordPress today. And I am also using Frames. Now, Frames is, let's see here. Frames is combined with automatic CSS. So these are actually owned by the same person. And basically what Frames is, it's a development workflow system where you can import different blocks, right? Different templates like a hero section, these icon sections with one click, okay? So this makes designing websites extremely fast because you can import these sections with a few clicks and then you can just go in and change the content. and you're basically done, okay? Combining this with automatic CSS, and you have a very robust framework that you can use for future websites. And why this is really important is because if you change the niche of a website, if you change the branding, if you want to change the colors, the typography, all of that would take a lot of time if you just dragged in a component for bricks and it wasn't using a class that you can change later on, and everything else using the same class would also change, right? It would be a lot of manual work, hours and hours of manual work just to change the color of every button on the website, for example. Automatic CSS fixes this because here's their little cheat sheet. I'm not going to get into all of these. We're not going to use all of these, but basically you can change the colors of things in one click. I had to install a couple other plugins, so now we have automatic CSS and we have frames in here. A couple other things that you might want is duplicate page, so you can automatically just one click duplicate a page. Gravity Forms is the form plugin that I use. Rank Math is for setting all of the SEO on the website. Updraft is for taking backups, which is super important when it comes to security and making sure you are hack proof, essentially. If a hack happens, you can just roll back the database and all your files to before the hack happened. And to prevent hacks in the first place, we're using Wordfence, okay? So Wordfence is free, Updraft is free, Rank Math is free, Gravity Forms has an annual cost, Frames has a one-time cost, I believe, as well as automatic CSS has a lifetime option as well. Okay, so now that we have all of our plugins, I know I'm moving fast. I'm not going to wait for you to upload all these plugins, but let's just move on to designing in Bricks. Oh yeah, of course, you want to import Bricks. And Bricks is actually a theme. It's not a plugin. So I'm just going to update Bricks here, make sure we're all up to date. Make sure these are all up to date. Okay, we're good to go. So if we come up here to Bricks, we can go to, oh, one other thing. If you're using Frames, which I suggest that you do, it's a very awesome product when you combine it with automatic CSS and Bricks. So come up here to the Bricks settings right here, and we have to actually come to templates. And right here where it says remote templates, you want to paste in the frames URL. So it's bricks.getframes.io. And for the templates password, this is going to be your license. So now that's in there, I will go ahead and click Save Settings. And we're good to go. We now have the frames library inside of Bricks, okay? So first things first, whenever I design a website, is I like to set the header. So this is the header right here. We can come here, edit with Bricks, or you can click Add New. And over here, you could just title this header. We might as well create a new one. And you can come here on the top right and select header. Very important. You want to tell the website that this is indeed a header. And we can click Publish. Easy enough. And then we can edit with Bricks. Now, I'm going to show you what you would normally do if you were just using Bricks. Of course, you can just use Bricks if you want to. You don't need automatic CSS or frames for this, but you can just click plus. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that because that is obnoxious to have that section in there. But we can search for maybe a block. We have this full width block right here, and we can just call this over here navbar on the structure panel on the right, so we know that this is the parent container for the navbar. And then we can start coming in here and adding the different bits and pieces. So normally in a header, you have on the left a logo, you have a navbar in the center, and then on the right there's maybe a phone number or a call to action button. something like that. Now with rank and rent websites, we want the phone number to be prominent across the website. So usually when people put contact us or get a free quote as a button, I don't typically like that. If we look at the current website here, let me come to SEO Services. I didn't even put the logo, even though I do have a logo right down here. I didn't even put that in the header up here. But the whole point is you want people to call the phone number. The phone number is king, the form comes secondary, but you want people to be clicking that phone number. So you want it to be prominent in the navigation, right? So for this nav bar, we can search for an image here for the logo. We can add that in there. We can select an image here, select the PNG. So that's in there. For the actual name, the class name, this is where automatic CSS comes into play, okay? So you can have different sizes, but if you're not using automatic CSS and you're only using bricks, we can go ahead and just make a logo class, and we can come to style, and we can probably just give it a max width of say 200 pixels, something like that. The next thing we want to do is we want to add a menu, and click a nav menu right there, and this menu will be the main menu. Of course, I don't have a menu right now because this is a one-page website currently. There are no pages except for the home page, so we're gonna have to create that menu later, but at least it's here in the nav bar. Actually, let's go ahead and add in our phone number. So I'm just using it as a heading, and we can just grab our phone number right here, copy that, and here we can just paste it right in here. Now this is important. It says link to. We actually want to do external URL, and we want to type in TEL for telephone, and we want to do colon, TEL colon, and then paste in our phone number. Let's get rid of any dashes, spaces, or parentheses. And I like to do a +1 for the country code, United States, just in case they're Canadian or they have some sort of foreign phone number. I want to make sure that the phone number routes correctly. So now this phone number is clickable. This is very important with rank and rent websites. You want to make the phone number clickable because on mobile devices, I'm sure you remember the days where you had to copy and paste or just memorize the phone number of the website that you're looking at on your mobile device because the phone numbers weren't clickable, right? I actually set this to flex, and you can do the direction. The flex direction is horizontal. So that means it will distribute these items in the parent horizontally. That makes sense. And then aligning on the main axis, I did space evenly. So these are going to be spaced evenly across the website, given the width of the website, which is set in automatic CSS. And then aligning the cross axis, I want to do center, so it comes off the top a little bit. We don't have to mess around with padding or margin or anything. That will be automatically set. Now, for this logo, we've already given it a class. We probably want to give it a little bit of margin just to bump it away from the top a little bit and also from the bottom of this nav bar. Cool, that looks pretty good. Now, you're probably saying, look, Jordan, I don't want to have to do this every time. I don't know web design. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know about flex boxes or margins or padding or anything. Aha, that's why I recommend using frames, because frames is amazing. So let me show you what I mean. So we can come up here to templates in the top right, and we can come to remote templates. Now, all of these templates are within frames. It gives you a nice thumbnail image, and you can actually just filter it by headers. So here we have a vertical header. There's header delta, header bravo. header foxtrot, header alpha, and we can just go ahead and insert the entire thing. It says this contains a theme style. Would you like to import it? I usually say no. I usually like to say import images in case there's any images, and we can go ahead and import it. So we basically just recreated what we did with a couple clicks, right? We don't have to mess with the padding or the margins or the spacing or anything. The only thing we're missing is the phone number. So we can copy that and we can just paste it. We're going to allow our browser to paste, and we can just paste it into this inner container right there. Boom. You have a header. Navigation, obviously would have to change this logo to our logo like that. And boom, we have a beautiful header. Now, you're probably saying, okay, we made our own custom header just as fast. It didn't take that long. But when you extrapolate this across building an entire website, these things tend to add up, okay? So I actually don't like this color, this background color. So I'm actually going to select this class right here. It's fr-header-alpha. All of these are using the automatic CSS class system. So it's very easy for us to just come in here and see what's going on. The padding is actually using variables. And this is where variables come into play with automatic CSS, because this variable of space medium and maybe space, what does this say? X for large. These are actually set globally in the automatic CSS settings. If you're just making a super quick rank and rent website, you don't have to worry too much about this. But when you're doing this for client websites, or if you want to really change the branding and just clone this website and use it for all of your rank and rent websites, you're gonna have to change the branding, the colors, the typography, maybe the spacing and all that good stuff. So it's awesome to have it right here, as well as having all of these automatic CSS colors down here at the bottom as well. Now you can see here that for global, these are the colors that are currently being used on the website, and these are set in the global settings. Now, I don't really like any of these colors. I think these were left over from a previous website. I do like this blue, but let's go ahead and redo all of the colors, and you'll see exactly the power of automatic CSS. So I like going to a website called Coolors.co. It's like colors, but cool. And here you can actually go and start using a generator to generate different color schemes. And you can just hit spacebar to get a new one. And that one's actually perfect. That's really funny. This will fit my branding of the blue that I'm going for absolutely perfectly. I got lucky on this roll, but if you like one color and you want to change the shades, you can change the shades right here. You can actually lock different colors and hit spacebar again, and it will lock that specific color. But I actually really like all of these, so I'm going to go ahead and start copying these colors right here. I'm going to do this a little bit faster by doing split screen. And let's go ahead and save this for now. And then we'll come back to the WordPress dashboard, and we'll come to automatic CSS. Now we can come to palette. Now this is where you set all of your action, primary, secondary, accent, and base colors for the website. Now the base color it could be a light color if you're doing a lighter website, or it could be a dark color if you're doing a dark mode website. So I'm going to put my darker color just because I like having a base color be dark no matter what kind of website I'm doing. It's personal preference. For the accent color, I think this one looks pretty good. I want to use one of these blues as the primary. So let me save that as the accent color there. Secondary color, let's go ahead and take this guy. I'll use the lighter blue as the primary. Set that, and then we'll take this light blue as the primary color. And the action color is what your call to actions are going to be. So for this, I typically like to use a complementary color. So we can go ahead and just paste in that blue again, just so we have the same tone. But I'm actually going to slide this all the way into the orange, yellow kind of realm. Maybe a little bit more, let's see, more orange maybe. Really orange. That looks cool. I guess super orange, maybe a little bit more pale. That looks pretty nice. Okay, so with all of these set, we can go ahead and save changes over here on the left. And we can change our typography here. We can do a base text size. Again, this affects the entire website, so you don't have to worry about changing the font color or the font colors or font sizes, spacing and whatnot. Buttons and links, I like to actually do lesser of a left and right padding on the button, so I like to change that to half an EM for that, so we can save that. There's just so many options in here. There's additional styling for headers and stickies and box shadows. There's actually a really great box shadow generator. Again, I'll put all the links of the tools and softwares I'm using in the description below so you can follow along and download and use these. But I love this box shadow. You can actually tweak it right here on how far away it goes from the box. These are using multi-variable colors, and we can actually make it a little bit darker here, something like that. And we can copy this whole thing, and in automatic CSS we can give it a custom value, and maybe for this medium they have box shadows large and extra large, but this might be, yeah, I guess this might be considered a large box shadow. So you can paste it right in there. You actually have to get rid of the box shadow right here, and this ending semicolon, I believe you have to get rid of that. You just give the values there, and we can save changes. So we've changed the colors, we've changed the box shadow. Here we can set different things about typography. Now let's go ahead and jump into the typography settings for Bricks itself. So let's go ahead and come to Pages, and you can set up a new homepage, but I'm going to keep my current content. So let's go ahead and open the homepage by clicking Edit with Bricks here. I like to open things in new tabs just so I can save the WordPress admin dashboard. Bricks is really nice because you can hop back and forth between them if you're editing the page or the header, okay? So this hero right here is looking a little bland. There's a lot of white space. This whole page is looking a little worse for wear, okay? So we're actually going to start building out the rest of the page. Now you can come here and you can see the structure over here, that there's these different sections, and I'm just going to collapse everything and kind of show you what's going on. Again, I'm going to come up to frames, and I'm going to come to remote templates, and I'm going to scroll down here under template bundle, and I'm going to select hero section. Now there's a lot of really great heroes that you could use, but I'm thinking of just a full width image. We can have a nice background image, and I'm thinking Hero Hotel is looking like what I'm looking for. It contains a theme style. Do you want to import it? No. So this will actually throw it all the way down at the bottom. No problem. We can just come over here to the structure panel, drag it, and put it all the way at the top, and it's right here. Now Wacom Siding is the brand name, and this is my main keyword, which always needs to be in H1. So whenever you're creating a rank and rent website, or any website for that matter, the main keyword that you want to rank for needs to be in your H1 title tag, okay? So if you're building this from scratch, you can start with a section. This is a section right here, and you can add in a container within that section. I think it automatically does that in Bricks. And then within the container, we have a heading, We have some lead, which is basically just a paragraph, and we have a call to action container with 2 different buttons right here. Okay, so what do we need here? We need an image, right? Now we can come to Midjourney, which is the Discord-based AI photo creation artificial intelligence, and it's pretty good. You can actually have ChatGPT write you a prompt for using something like this. I'm just going to come down here. This is actually my own private server that I use for managing my team, but also creating images. So all I have to do is come to Imagine, prompt, and I could say a beautiful house. I could probably just do that. It's funny when you look at siding websites because most of them are just pictures of houses, right? Obviously it's showing the siding on the house, but let's just see what it comes up with when I say a beautiful house. Now, one thing I didn't do is I didn't give it the aspect ratio of this hero section. Typically hero sections are 16:9. It's like a movie format, horizontal. So let's go ahead and do that. So a beautiful house on a bright and sunny day. And you can do -AR for aspect ratio, space 16:9. And already all of these houses are looking a little old school, a little spooky, if you will. So I definitely want a beautiful modern house on a bright and sunny day. And we can start that. And while that's going, let's go ahead and put in our main title here. So siding installation, and then the city. And we have some content here. So what content do you use? Now, I told you that I would show you how to use ChatGPT. Now, Google has come out and stated in a support article on their website that they do not care if you use artificial intelligence content, okay? So I want to be very clear. A lot of people might be saying, oh, our AI content isn't going to rank or Google is going to penalize your site. It's not true. What they said is that the content just needs to be factual and it needs to help the user, right? It's pretty simple. Now, ChatGPT might be wrong about certain topics and things or biases that it has, but for our intents and purposes, it is spot on when it talks about home services or any niche you might move into in rank and rent. So that's why I love using it, because it is Google friendly, it's extremely fast, and it just creates really good content. Now, all of these prompts right here that you see were actually created using AI PRM, which is a Chrome extension. So you can just type in AI PRM extension, you can download it for free, and you can just one click into any of these prompts and you can use them, okay? Now, I have my own custom prompts that I've crafted inside of my course. I'm not going to go into that today, but I actually have a lot of them where I just copy paste to really drill down and get exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to rank and rent sites, and even creating a site, letting it run for a couple months, and then looking at the Google Search Console data, taking all of those keywords and search terms, giving them to ChatGPT, and having it restructure the site based on the semantic map of your keywords. That's a pretty advanced training that I also have inside of my course. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and move into one of these prompts. And it's interesting because it says 100% unique SEO optimized article. Now, 4 million people have used this. 1 million people have used this, or it's been used a million times. I really like FAQs. I think FAQs are very important to ranking and actually getting traffic. But it's hard to tell if this will work for a service-based rank and rent website because it says an article. Now, articles are typically for blogging and getting traffic through blogs, but let's go ahead and let's just choose one of these. And I think I'll do the FAQ one. And it says keyword or title. I'm going to do siding installation in Bellingham. Company name is Whatcom Siding. Okay. And I'm not sure if it's going to use the company name correctly because it's basically taking this keyword and injecting it into a large prompt. But let's go ahead and see how it does. And let's see how our image is doing. Okay, so this is too modern. So a beautiful modern home on a bright and sunny day. Let's try doing this somewhere in the middle. How about a beautiful house with James Hardy siding? See what that comes up with, okay? All right, so this is great. It gives us the title, the meta description, H2s, and a few H3s, H4s, and then it will get into some FAQs. So this is, it's okay. Some of these sentences are pretty short, and trying to find how to design this on the website will ultimately be up to you. Typically, the content does dictate the form. So it's okay if some of these are short because we can probably use these in maybe a 3-column design with little icons going over the top and a very short sentence going there. Okay, so this is pretty good. So what I want to do is I want to move this over here and then I want to come back to this page. Maybe make this a little bit smaller so we can get some more design space. We can close that. There we go. But look how fast that is, right? This might not be perfect and you might have to come back and tweak this or add new content. Remember, this is just for the homepage too. We have to build out other pages. And to be honest, siding is a niche that really doesn't have that many pages. The keywords you want to go for are siding contractors, siding installation, reinstall siding, but we can put all of that on the homepage. If the company offers painting or any other kind of exterior construction services, that's where you want to add those to internal pages, right? All right, so for the introduction, let's go ahead and take this and put this right here in the hero section. In the ever-changing landscape of home improvements and building aesthetics, nothing quite transforms a house's exterior like a well-executed siding installation. So boom, we have our first keyword within the actual paragraph content to coincide with our H1 up here. Whenever I'm doing a construction website, for some reason, I like making all of the headlines caps. So here I selected the automatic CSS class, which is the Hero Hotel heading. And I'm just going to come over here to typography, and I'm going to make that all caps. I think it just looks more bold and strong, which kind of coincides with construction. Okay, these are fantastic. These are really good. Which one showcases the siding the best? Probably not this one because that's using stone. I really like how the sun is hitting this so you can see the rows of siding. The yellow one is also really good. But for our color scheme, I think I might go with the green paint right here. The angles of the roof do look a little funky just because it's like a wide angle lens. This one down here isn't too bad either. Yeah, I think I might do the last one actually because it's more direct facing and might actually frame up better in the hero section. So I'm going to actually do U4, which will upscale the fourth image. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the fourth image. And here we go. We can save this image to our downloads. And what I always like to do is come to image compressor.com, and you can quickly just throw in this image right here. because that was 2 megabytes in size. I should probably resize it in Photoshop, but for brevity's sake, I'm just going to throw it in image compressor, and look at that, you saved 71% in your image size. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. Change the image. It's actually here under featured image, and I actually have an overlay here, which is cool. So you can actually change the overlay color. And let's go ahead and let's see, where was this downloaded to? All right, so we're dragging this in. Now we want to make sure we change the title to siding installation Bellingham, because that's our main keyword, and we also want to put it in the alternative text right here and insert that onto the hero section. Okay. So the readability of the text is okay. It's not the best, but we can come here and we can click this overlay, we can come to background, and we can click this color right here. And the shade of this color is actually automatically being generated from those global colors. So if we come to global, we can select any of these global colors. We can change the opacity of that if we wanted to make it that orange. But what I'm actually going to do is I want to come to the base color, because that's our dark blue. And right here, it will automatically, you can see the variable down here, and you can do base transparency of 20, 40, 60, 80, 90. So we can start to dial in exactly how we want to make this look. And I think transparency 60 looks nice, so the yellow of the house actually comes out. You can still read the text. I think that looks pretty good. We'll roll with that. And this doesn't have to be perfect, right? We're actually going to delete that section down there, so that will flow directly into there. And for the call to action, we can even say tap to call now. Just so it's on mobile devices, it will automatically show up as that. For a button, all right, so I decided I just want one button right here, and we can actually change the link type. We're gonna do external, and we're going to grab this phone number again, TEL : put the phone number in there. It will work if you leave in the dashes and the spaces and the parentheses, but I just want to make sure it will 100% work. So we can go ahead and save that. Now let's come down here to the main section. Now typically on rank and rent websites, you want the form to be prominent. And normally it's actually up here in the hero. So let's go ahead and do that. That's actually how I teach it in my course. So within this content wrapper, we might actually need to have a 2-column layout. So I'm going to put another block in here, and this will be the form wrapper. And then I can actually just take this guy, which is this bit of code for my form. And by the way, this form is being embedded on the website using, this form is being embedded on the website using LeadSnap. LeadSnap is a really cool system for managing your lead flow. Definitely recommend using that. But I don't like how it has a white background. Now, there's another option, which I covered at the beginning of this video. It's a specific plugin that I use for all of my forms, and it is called Gravity Forms. Gravity Forms is amazing, and you can actually integrate it with LeadSnap. So all of the data can actually flow directly over to LeadSnap, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and create a form here. Let's do a simple contact form. Let's call this main contact. And then we need a phone number, which is also required. And let's see. Let's ask them if they're ready to hire. Let's just do a simple checkbox. Are you ready to hire? Yes. as soon as possible. Yes, in a few weeks. And no. All right, and this will also be required. So boom, we have our form. We can save it, and we can come back to here. We're gonna delete this code block right here. We don't need it because we will actually have these forms go directly into LeadSnap anyway. So we can delete that. We can come up here to add a new block, and it's going to be shortcode. Now the shortcode is simply open bracket, gravity form, ID equals 1, title equals false, and then tab index equals 1. So that basically means if someone hits tab, where it's going to go to. Now there's a lot of styling we can do for this. Again, for brevity's sake, I'm not going to get into the CSS of styling a gravity form. We can get into that maybe in a later video. But for now, I think this looks decent. I actually want to have these side by side though. There we go. We're doing flex. Flex seems to work out a lot better. Okay, so we're doing flex, horizontal. And then we're going to basically distribute evenly. And now we can come back through and restyle our typography if we want to have that over there. We want to have this class do that. For the space in between these items, we can come here to row gap, and we can just put in an amount, maybe 15 or 20. So there's 20 pixels in between each one of these rows. And obviously we would have to come back through and style the form. And let's see here, this container might be the margin I think is a little too squished on either side. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So I did on this content wrapper, this whole wrapper that's holding both of these blocks, I did a width of 60 vertical width. So it's basically spanning 60% of the entire hero section right here. That looks okay. I'm just gonna move on. You guys can style the hero section however you want. You can leave it how Frames does it, but I like to get the form up there so it's front and center. So let's go ahead and save. And now we can come back to the content, right? We can always come back to wherever the content ran off to, which is right there. Close some of these windows. All right, so we have a few H2s right here, and then a bunch of H3s, H4s, H5s. Okay, so we drew all the way down. So the way that they structured this, or how the AI structured this, isn't necessarily the best, but we can roll with it right now and just see how the page looks. So here we can get rid of this stuff. We can get rid of this whole section actually. We're just gonna delete that. We can probably keep that because we'll need that later. Okay, so right under this section, let's go up to templates, and we are looking at another kind of 3-column design right here. We're gonna have a main title and then 1, 2, 3. So remote templates, we can come to content. We can see what they have right here. Something that also might use that are features, not footers. If we come back to features, so this will have more of those 3-column layouts. So here's maybe a good one. Yeah, let's do this one. Feature section Bravo. All right, again, I put it down at the bottom, so we're gonna drag that right up to underneath the hero. And we can just start copying in all of our content. Let's put that there. There we go. And we can copy this phone number right here and use it as the link for this. There we go. Primary button outline. Yeah, it's decent. So again, I want to unlock the primary button style right here. And I want to come to CSS. And I'm going to put an ease on this one of 1/3 of a second. Just so it fades. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm not loving the typography. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's come up here to the settings and go to theme styles. And right here, you can see all of the theme styles. We can actually get rid of these colors because that's set by automatic CSS. And we can come down here to typography. So the typography is set in here. The actual fonts are set by bricks, and all the little pixel sizes and stuff like that is set by automatic CSS. So we're going to come in here and let's go ahead and pick, oh, I really like Roboto Condensed is a good one. Let's actually use Poppins. Poppins is a pretty good one for headlines. There we go, nice and bold. And for H2, let's also do Poppins. So that changed down there. For the font size for H2s, let's make it a bit smaller, so 40. And should we do uppercase? Yeah, let's continue the uppercase. For an H3, let's go ahead and do Poppins, but we're going to keep it lowercase. But we're going to lower this size a little bit. Something like that. Maybe increase the font weight, maybe up to 600. No, let's put it back down to 5. That looks like some pretty good hierarchy. And then for the paragraph tag, body tag, let's go ahead and do, let's try Open Sans. Looks okay, maybe Roboto Condensed. Yeah, I like that because it actually fits more content in a smaller area. So we can go ahead and save this, and the conditions, you want to make sure it's showing on the entire website right here. And we can save that, come to the website just to see how it's looking. Okay, so the styling of the form looks a little bit different on the front end, which is good. We don't have to do quite as much, maybe some typography things here, put a background on it, stuff like that, but this is looking pretty good. Now I probably want to put an image down here as well, show more that they're in the right spot for citing. Okay, I think I want to add a little image down here for a second citing image. So let's go ahead and come up here to the templates again. We're going to frames and we are going to look for an image. We also have a 3-column setup for the H3s right here. Let's go ahead and try this one, Feature Card Sierra. We're going to import the image. And we can actually drag this right underneath the last section. So we're balancing things out. I might actually want to flip the, no, that would be too much text on the left. So it actually goes left side text heavy, then an image, and then right side will be the text heavy. And we can go ahead and start copying this. Maybe just add what we do best. And let's see, this is an H3. Okay, so that's good. We can add this in here. And we can actually just, I actually want this to be an H2. And then underneath here will be a bunch of H3s. H3. So we have vinyl, duplicate that. We have wood, duplicate that. We have fiber cement. And yep, so we can just go ahead and duplicate these basic texts. Yeah, that's probably okay. I'm just considering the spacing right here. It might be a little much. So we can probably come in here and change the spacing for the margin bottom. We can probably lower that to 10 or so, making sure I selected the class first, because this will update across the entire website that uses that class, of course. And we are duplicating these paragraph tags, so we are using the same class. So we can go ahead and fill out all of these paragraphs. So we have vinyl, and get a quote. I probably do want a contact page, which I don't have currently, but this is, you can see that orange coming in for the complementary color. This is called the action color. As you can see up here, it says button action. And I do also want to unlock this and put a fade right here. Ease, there we go. Lock that up again so it fades. And for this image, let's go ahead and throw in this other image, which was also created using Midjourney. And I'm going to switch up the keyword here. So instead of citing installation, I'm going to say citing contractor city. And yeah, this is really starting to come together. You can see how it looks on the front end. Call now. Tap to call, phone number, get a quote. This design isn't going to win any awards, but the important part is getting the actual content on the site in a pretty good looking way, okay? One thing I think I want to do is change these icons to a check mark. So change this one to a check. Typically the first thing people see or on a website is you want to have this kind of what's in it for them, right? If you lead with why we're the best or why our company is the best, blah, 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 it's not a very effective strategy. I will tell you right now. You want to lead with what they are going to get out of the transaction rather than what you're really good at. And I know it's similar, but there's a difference. So commitment to customer satisfaction, stuff like that. And we actually need to change this content right here below them. Put this here. These might be a little long. We can probably shorten these up a bit. And then this one, the color, I actually want to make it into the action orange just to get a splash of orange going on. Action orange. And by the way, I hope you start to realize how awesome it's going to be if we finish this website and we clone it for a completely new niche in a new city and say it's tree service. We can just come in and change all the colors to green in one location and it will update across the entire website. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you do things once and you don't have to do them again. Okay, so this color, I actually do want to make this into a different color, maybe text action. That looks pretty good. Services, maybe instead of text action, this will be text primary accent. Maybe the accent color is nice. Whoops, selected the wrong one. Text accent. Yeah, that blue is pretty nice. Because the call to action should actually be orange. So button primary, let's change this to button action. And I added a combo class to actually make this an outline. So all I had to do that, I didn't have to change any CSS, any settings over here. I just added button action for the color and button outline to combo with that. So it's the action color and it's an outline button. I think that looks pretty good. It grabs your attention because it's off to the side, but it doesn't grab so much of your attention because it's not filled in because it's an outline button. I think that works out pretty well. So yeah, we're just gonna keep going down, have all this content coming in here. Now we're into the H4s. And so we have a Why Choose Us section down here, so we can actually delete this. And again, we're gonna come up to templates. We're gonna figure out something for this installation process. And I think I did actually see something that was a cool, like, vertical timeline thing going on. If we can find that again, probably this one. Yeah, this one's cool. Look at that. So right underneath there. And this isn't actually in a section. You can tell by you can hover over it and it says container. So that's interesting that wasn't in a section. So I'll go ahead and add a section. I'll delete this container and then I'll actually put this inside of it because you want to have proper spacing. See, automatically just adding this as a section or inside a section, it gave proper spacing right here before it was too close to the bottom of that. And then we also want to add in a heading to the top of this, and that's too close again to that. So what we can do is we can do margin, and we can do margin bottom like XL, something like that. And this will actually be an H4 siding installation process. H4, for some reason that got rid of the class, the margin class. So we're gonna do margin again. So there we go. And I don't like the size of this H4. So let's go back to the theme styles, typography, come down to the H4, which isn't actually set. So we probably want to set that to pop-ins like all of the other ones. There we go. And let's do 25. Maybe a little bit less. The font weight shouldn't be that. There we go. Because it should be in hierarchy, right? Because these are H3s. And this should be either skinnier or smaller as an H4 than an H3. Of course, you can make this an H2 if you really want to make it kind of stand out like that, which might be a good idea. So we can go ahead and do that. And then for the color, I really like the accent color for this, kind of this off blue. Text accent. There we go, that looks pretty good. We don't need a date. Should we put a number here? Yeah, we can see how this looks. So 1, 2, 3, we can even make these. It's called alpha date still as a class. Not that it matters too much, but we can make these like huge. And we can also make the layout position absolute. And we can do, let's see, how do I do this? We can do left. I'm trying to get it to be just like a big thing right underneath. Let's see, header. So I think this has to be position relative. There we go. So this is like advanced stuff. You absolutely don't have to bother with any of this stuff. I just think it'd be cool to try some of this stuff out. All right, so typography, let's do something super bold. And then for the color, let's do something very muted like that, like you can barely see it. And then the Z index, which will basically push it all the way to the back. We'll just give it a negative number, like -10 or something, so now you can see it's in the back. And we can give it like a negative padding to, I guess we'll have to do negative margin here, negative margin. Yeah, we're getting there. Maybe it needs to be bigger. Maybe it needs to be like 100. Yeah, something like that. You see what I'm getting at. Hopefully you see what I'm getting at. Anyway, I honestly don't want to figure this out right now. I know you guys don't want to watch me figure this out right now, so I'm just going to delete all of these because we don't need them. We don't need them. I would figure this out on a client website. I would go through all the trials and tribulations for a client, but you know what? This, my friends, is a rank and rent website, and it does not need to be perfect. In fact, I think I am going way too into the weeds here. I need to stay focused for you guys. I hope you're enjoying this, by the way. I hope you're still watching, first of all. I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope you are learning something. Okay, so we are... Honestly, we're almost done. We're almost done, guys. This doesn't have to take that long, and I am taking a lot longer because I'm talking and teaching at the same time. Okay, so for this alpha icon, we want the color to be some sort of secondary blue. Would be nice. Okay. Yep, that's cool. For the background, we can do... Ooh. That's nice. Yeah, maybe something more subtle. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. And then for these, maybe change the color to... Oh, that's the background. Typography color. Maybe change it to that secondary. Yeah, that looks good. And you could do animations, you could do all that. Again, this is not for a client. This is for our own website, which you should try to pimp out, try to make it look really good. But I digress. Okay, so now we're getting into why you should choose Wacom siding for siding installation. Okay, so this is like the last major section. I think I might want to, at the end of this section, I think I want to add in a call to action button. We can just grab this one, copy, and then paste into this section. We need a margin. See, margin top, XL. Give us some space there. By the way, all of this frames and automatic CSS stuff, this is already mobile responsive. So everything actually responds exactly how it should on a mobile device. Look at that. I didn't have to do anything. It's awesome. It's great. Except for here. What's going on here? This is, oh yeah, so this isn't in a section, that's why. So again, we can come up here, section, and put in feature card Sierra into that. Put it in that container. Boom, there we go. Now if we come to mobile, it is looking beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. All right. We're looking good. Boys and girls, we are looking good. Okay. Save. When was the last time I saved? Save your work, please. I don't want to hear horror stories of you guys losing all your progress here. Okay. Last section, we're into the H5s. We also have a 3-column setup. Okay, I already know I'm gonna need an FAQ section, so I'm gonna put in FAQ section alpha. Okay, I have all of those in there. And I don't need this one, so I can come to the FAQ accordion and come over to content. This last FAQ item, I can just go ahead and delete. There we go. And yeah, we are good to go. Cool. Now, pro tip about your FAQ, you can actually add these as FAQ schema, advanced schema code to your website, and you have a better chance of getting these indexed and picked up by featured snippets and put into Google search, which is very good for driving traffic. Let's go ahead and put this above the map listing. So map listing is right there. I just like to throw that at the bottom of the website. We can definitely work on the footer here in a second, but we are missing this section of why choose Wacom sighting. So let's go back here. Let's try to find a good little content section. I'll just do this one. It's the last bit of content. We can just stuff it down here. We're gonna put this above the FAQ. Delete this little guy. And for this heading, we're gonna make this into an H5. That's way too small. Can't even read that. Going back to typography, so H5 wasn't set either, so again, we're doing pop-ins for this. And for the size, let's do at least 20. And I don't like the semicolons, I like dashes. Cool. Easy peasy. All right, we are done with the homepage. And honestly, because this website is going to be pretty thin content, if I'm not ranking, I will probably build out a blog, which you can build with frames. This amount of content on the homepage, it should rank the homepage no problem with a proper amount of backlinks and on-page SEO. So we already have all of our headlines structured from H1 all the way through H5 for various keywords. I'm going to have to check the keyword density. So let's go ahead and come back to pages. And we want to make sure, so rank math is installed, so this is important when you do your on-page SEO. So let's go ahead and do the on-page right here. So I've already put in siding installation Bellingham as the focus keyword, and I'm already hitting issues here. Focus keyword not found in your SEO meta description, okay? So let's go ahead and check out this meta description. And it's interesting how Google is pulling these meta descriptions now, because sometimes they will take the meta description that you set, but other times the algorithm will take just random content on your page and create a custom meta description and show it to the user based on the content on your page. It's also interesting if siding installation Bellingham needs to be in the meta description exactly like that, instead of something that would actually make sense. Siding installation in Bellingham, I think, would make more sense, but then you're not hitting the exact match keyword. Yeah. So as we start to talk about the title and meta, the goal is to get high click-through rate. So it's not very enticing if we just have the name of the company or the site, the brand, and the main exact match keyword. It would be more enticing if we said, if we put free quote maybe, or if we put 20% off or 10% off. Again, you would have to check with the client if someone came to claim that and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? You want to make sure that they're okay with giving a discount. But we can ask ChatGPT. Let's do that. Let's see. Write me 10 example titles for this website, or for this page, that would lead to high click-through rate. Consider options such as free quote, discounts, and similar strategies. All right, let's see what it comes up with. Unbeatable discounts on siding installation in Bellingham. Free quote today. Top tier siding installation by Wacom Siding. Transform your home. Affordable siding installation. Limited time offers. Save on siding installation in Bellingham. Okay, these are great. These are really good. But I want to say rewrite these to have a maximum of 60 characters. Because that is the maximum here on Google search. So there we go. These are much better, fitting within this space restriction. Huge discounts, free quote, affordable home transformation. Again, we need a siding installation as the keyword, and we need Bellingham. Save big on Wacom Siding, Bellingham, Wacom Siding. Okay, so one more time. Rewrite these to include the main keyword siding installation. So again, I need to have maximum of 60 characters. I didn't put that in again. Siding installation, siding. Okay, let's see here. This one's pretty good, and it fits perfectly within that title there. It says huge discounts on Wacom Siding, so it actually gets the brand name in there, and it actually gets the main keyword siding installation Bellingham with just a comma in between, so I think it ignores the comma. So that's great. Okay, so I want to write the meta with a maximum character count of 160. Include the keyword siding installation Bellingham. Cool. So we can update that. And it says focus keyword doesn't appear in the SEO title. Technically it does, if we take out the comma, which is probably fine. Google probably won't penalize us for not having a comma in there. Not found in our meta description. Let's see here. Yeah, again, it's doing the in, so we can take out the in. We can update that. Focus keyword does not appear at the beginning of your content. I think we can just add siding installation Bellingham right there. Right here. In that bolded spot right there. So let's do that. Let's go back here and let's reload the page and see if it picks it up. It did. Okay, great. So focus keyword not found in subheadings like H2, H3, H4, etc. Okay. It also says keyword density is 0.15, which is low. It only appears one time. Great. Okay, so we just need to add it to some H tags, add it a few more times. Let's see here. We can get rid of this, the in. I'm actually going to make this that beautiful blue font, the accent color, if you will. That looks good. And that's good. So all the titles are blue. So we added the keyword to the H. Let's see, that is an H2. So now we have to add it to to an H3. And I'm not sure what this accordion is. I'm not sure if that's an H3. I think that's just text right there. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough where you should add it in the design because everything is set and it looks pretty good. Again, we can get rid of that because this is an H5. Center that up. Let's also make this that beautiful blue accent. So yeah, adding it as an H3. I guess I can add Bellingham to the end of this, but then it'll just look jank. And this is writing for search engines, as they say, and not for the people, because the people don't want to see Bellingham in each one of these titles. They just want to see vinyl siding, wooden siding, fiber cement siding. They don't want to see all of those kind of in there, but you do what you got to do to appease the Google gods. All right, so we're at an 81 out of 100. There's only 2 errors, which is we can't find any internal links, and that's fine because we don't have any pages on our website. And another error is using their AI content writer to optimize the page. So I wonder if, yeah, 0 credit, so of course it's going to blur it out and all that good stuff. But we're to use ChatGPT for that. So I think we're good. I think we're pretty good there. This is in the green. We want to update. Make sure everything's saved. All right, what about individual service pages, right? Your niche probably has a lot more services than just siding installation. Plumbing, I know, probably has 25. It's very simple. We're going to come back to pages. We're going to click duplicate this for the home page. And now we have a duplicate of the home page. And we can come in here. We can title this Service 2. And remember, it will duplicate all of your title tags, meta descriptions, all that stuff. So you want to make sure you come in here and you change it. You want to make sure that the permalink is whatever you need it to be for the actual URL of the page. And we're just going to click publish. And after this publishes, we're going to edit with bricks. And ideally, you would have all of your content already done in ChatGPT. You would have it create a topical map of whatever niche you're doing and really drill down into all the individual service pages. You would have ChatGPT write all of those service pages, and then you would just come in here to change the content. So this would be Service 2. You would come in here, change all this content. If it's just a service page, I would probably lower the amount of content. I might even just do these 2 sections right here. You don't obviously need to have all of this content in there. Although it doesn't hurt, it's all your own content. Google isn't going to hit you with a duplicate content penalty because it's your own content. And if it provides valuable information to the searcher, then you definitely want to include it. But you probably want to edit the FAQ section to be more relevant to that service, obviously, and stuff like that. ChatGPT is going to do all that stuff for you. So it's just a matter of copy pasting everything over. And after you save this, we're going to go ahead and save that. We're going to come back to the admin dashboard. And we're going to come to Appearance, Menu. And there we go. We have service number 2. So we can just add service number 2 and we can click Save Menu. By the way, this is how you save your menu and actually create a menu. You come over to Appearance Menus, create a menu name up here. And if you wanted to, say this is service number 3 and oh, it won't let me do that because I already have that in there. Okay, let's do that. Say this is like the main service page and these are services underneath. You can actually pull this to the side. And now this will be a drop-down menu. We can just go ahead and take a look at what that looks like on the front end here. So now we have a drop-down menu for our services. You would go through, you create the about page, you create the quote page, right? That you want to link all of these quote buttons too, right? You don't want these just leading to nowhere, which they are right now. All the click to calls would obviously call the phone number, but you do want to make sure that you have a contact us page, because still people are still looking for contact us pages. So I'm going to remove these because they provide no value to my website currently. Website security. Let's cover that super quick here. So plugins. What plugin do I use? I use Wordfence. So this is free. You definitely want to get on Wordfence. And then you actually want to optimize the firewall here. And you can automatically optimize the firewall by clicking this. You download the ACSS and user.ini just so you have a backup in case anything goes wrong. But it automatically selects the technology of your server. So if you're using Apache, it will automatically choose Apache. If you're using Nginx or Lightspeed, it will choose those. You click continue and your firewall is optimized. You want to make sure that this is enabled and protecting. When you're building the website, you might want to do learning mode, just because saving in bricks might set off some red flag when it comes to how Wordfence views admin actions on the back end. It might think you're trying to hack your own website. We want to avoid that. So if we come to plugins, there's one more I want to add here, which is, it's called WPS login. I think you just type in WPS. And you want to do WPS hide login. And what this does is this will hide where you log into your website. Because what hackers will do, you always want to enable auto updates on everything. What hackers will do is they will just go to your login page and they will try to brute force login to your website. So you want to avoid that by simply changing the login URL. I'm going to change it to what I like to change it to. I'm not going to tell you. And you can change it to whatever you want to change it. All right, so that's been changed. Now I want you guys to set up one more thing, which is Updraft. Updraft is super, super important because you want to take consistent backups of your website in case there is a hack. If you don't constantly update your plugins, you will get hacked. It's a matter of time. They're going to redirect you to some sketchy Russian website. You want to avoid that. You want to generate leads. You want to provide a good service for your clients. You don't want your website to go down. So you want to set up Updraft. What I set up is fortnightly, so every 2 weeks it will take a backup and I will retain 20 weeks worth of backups, which is a lot. That's 5 months, and I do it that long because if I don't catch it soon enough, a month or two might go by where I don't know my website's been hacked. I have so many websites, it's hard to manage all of them. But you can do daily. I usually do daily for client websites and retain that for a couple months. But you can actually save it to your Google Drive. I'm already paying for Google Drive Premium, so I have 2 terabytes. You can also do Backblaze. You can do Amazon S3. You can do whatever you want. But you want to make sure that you are saving all of the files as well as the database. So the database is really important. That's what is usually infected with hack vulnerabilities, is they infect the database. So you want to make sure you're backing up the database. All right, your website is done. You are ready to launch on a domain. What do you do now? If you're using Cloudways, all hosting is very similar. You just come into Cloudways and you go to domain management of your website and you add a domain. It's super simple. Once you do that, you come over here to the 3 little dots and you want to do make primary. It'll make that website or that domain your primary domain. What this basically does is it will go through your database and it will do a find and replace of this temporary URL, this development URL that you use to develop your website, because you don't want to develop on a live domain like I just did today. But you want to actually use a development domain and you want to push to the live domain when you're ready. So this will do a find and replace of the old one. We'll replace it with the new one. and you will set it as your primary. And then in your DNS settings of whatever registrar you're using, I recommend using Namecheap, link in the description. You can set up the A tags to point. All right, guys, I hope this helped. We just built an entire rank and rent website using ChatGPT content, using Midjourney AI for the images, using ChatGPT for the on-page SEO, using WordPress, using bricks, hosting on Cloudways, using automatic CSS. This is the best setup in the world that you can use for your websites. You want to take care of these websites. You want to build them out. You want to rank them. These are digital assets that will bring you, on average, $1,000 per month. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please go to rankandbank.ai. If you want to learn more about me, if you want to learn more about my coaching program on how I make 5 figures per month completely passively using rank and rent websites just like this one that we built today, then please subscribe to my email list on rankandbank.ai. Maybe schedule time with me if you're serious about having some coaching and scaling up your rank and rent business. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one.